We're gonna take out these logs right over here, clean up this area. Brother-in-law built this little primitive shelter with his son last year. We're gonna have to take that down and get rid of this fire pit, because this is where we're gonna be constructing the tiny house. We're gonna put an 18 by 20 foot tent right over here, and not a tent, it's like a canopy just to protect, have like a little mini like outdoor workshop. So put the table saw under there and the miter saw, and not have to worry about covering everything when it rains. That'll be nice. And then the tiny house, we're gonna put probably on an angle, on a diagonal right over there between those trees and out to that clearing, to avoid that fir tree right over there. So that's the plan right now. Gonna be getting some new tools that I'm buying, a new a badass miter saw with a stand, and I've never had before. This will be amazing. I've always used a circular saw, and I had this crappy Ryobi miter saw a long time ago, and I'm glad to be done with that. And yeah, and some materials. I quoted out dimensional lumber, some Doug fir. Gonna stick with that. It's good stuff, better than the SPF, and just some other stuff that we're gonna get started with the tiny house. So that's all coming next week. So we got to clear out this space for that. And all right, gonna get right to it then. Always put your saw off to the side behind something so you don't run it over. I want to take all the shorties together, and then I want to get the long ones together. Towards you. Okay. Area where we're going to be building the tiny house is all nice and cleared now. We actually blew leaves with a leaf blower. We blew them off the wood chips and leveled out, raked the wood chips and made it all nice and level, because we had been running the skid steer through there and made a mess of it. So now that's done. We are back in the garden, and we're a little late on planting this year. It is the middle of April, but we're getting to it today. We just got a whole bunch of non-GMO organic seeds, and we're gonna give the garden a real try this year. Last year we didn't really give it a go. We just planted bush beans and clover because of we're trying to build soil, and our soil still isn't great, and our compost isn't even close to ready to put down in the garden yet. Probably will have good compost next year, but we're gonna give it a go with some real vegetables and just see how it goes this year. So we're just in there. We turned over the clover one more time. We had put cardboard over it over the winter, over most of it, and trying to snuff out that clover because we don't want it going to seed and growing everywhere. At least we don't think. You know, we don't really know a whole lot too much about the synergy of all the different plants. I mean, I know how to grow vegetables. I can do that. But as far as building soil goes and the synergy of plants, we're kind of novices. So we're trying to get rid of the clover now. People say that clover is a good ground cover between the plants, but then I have other friends that have said, oh, you better get that clover out of there before it goes to seed, because you're never going to be able to get rid of the clover after that. So, you know, I don't really know. If I have clover as ground cover between the veggies, and that clover grows and goes to seed and just keeps on going each year, I mean, I don't know if that's going to become a problem, if that's going to become really annoying to us. So one step at a time. So we're clearing the clover just by hand now. After we've already had the cardboard off now. We turned the garden over with a hoe one more time, and now we're just pulling out the little bit remaining clover, and we're just leaving the clover on the ground here. We're trying to disturb the ground as little as possible, although with all the hoeing we did, this area is pretty well disturbed. This area over here, we had the bush beans. This is very undisturbed. We're just leaving all the leaves and the sticks and whatnot on the ground here. And last year, we just clipped the bottom of the bush bean plants. All those roots are still in there. And you know, we're gonna let those rot out and hopefully help with the soil building. So today we're just gonna start throwing some seeds in the ground according to the instructions on the packets, and that's really about it. Let's have it come in from that door because we rarely open that other door, but it's good. All we're trying to do is define the path and put some stuff down to maybe like mat it down so less weeds grow. There are tons of worms in this straw. More worms in our garden, the better. They're the ones making the dirt. We got our path. Let's take a look at these seed packets. It's gonna take a while before like something big like the pole beans gets big and starts shading that even more so. I'll do like basil in front of the cilantro and the spinach, and then we can do like bush beans. And over in front of the kale, we can do the tomatoes.
So you're gonna do?
I keep catching whiffs of like mouse piss. Or like cat piss. It could just be like this straw decomposing. I think that's what it is. There's one, there's two, there's one, there's two. Let's put 3 in that one. That's it. Just throw the soil over. She's doing the cherry tomatoes. And these are supposed to be 3 foot on center, the rows. So that's good. She's got her 3 feet between the rows. Just moving the leaves across, leaves off to the side temporarily. Once our plants start growing, we'll just put the leaves right back, act as a little bit of mulch. Then we'll come in later after that and add to the mulch, put more straw down on top of that. Okay, so I'm gonna do a row of, I got the row of spinach. I got the row of spinach first. Then I'm gonna do a row of kale. And then to rotate the spinach in 2 weeks, I'll probably do another row of spinach. This is the Hudson Valley Seed Company. We tried to buy as many local seeds as we could. This company is obviously right here in the Hudson Valley, but they didn't have a lot of stuff that we couldn't find a lot of seeds for plants that we wanted to grow with those guys. So we only got a few things. We're gonna have to hit them up again later this year, see if we can get some more. We have our path established. We have cherry tomatoes planted in these 2 rows so far. We got all kinds of different flowers. Justine planted all around this perimeter. We got basil and cilantro and rosemary, and totally forgetting what this last one I planted was. It'll come to me, but maybe that'll be a little bit of a surprise if I can't remember. And so far over here I got spinach. I got a row of spinach and I got a row of kale. And my intention here is we go through a lot of spinach, so my intention is to rotate, or not to rotate, to do successive plantings on the spinach for sure. So I'm going to do another row of spinach like right here probably, you know, in about 3 weeks. So we get a bunch of spinach and then another harvest of spinach a few weeks later. And the kale, I think this kale should be good because we're going to be able to pick from it throughout the season, and it's going to keep growing. It's like a stalk that keeps getting higher. And man, these gnats are really destroying my life right now. And in this area, we're going to be doing pole beans, and I'm not sure what else. Actually, well, what do we got here? We got pole beans, cucumbers, and zucchini left. So probably that is going to do pole beans and one other thing right in this area. And then over here on this side, we're gonna do a lot of cherry tomatoes. I'm not trying to grow any bigger tomatoes because I've had really bad luck with that in the past. Like just not having the right nutrients in the soil, they just start rotting out from the bottom. And we know the soil is still not going to be that great, so I'm not even messing with that. We're going to give a go at the cherry tomatoes because I found them to be really, really bountiful, even in not that great soil before in the past. So we're gonna do a lot of cherry tomatoes and eat them raw, and we'll give it a try. Maybe if we have we're gonna try to grow a lot of them, so we'll have so many we'll try to make some sauce out of them and can that stuff. And then we'll also have plenty of room for squash and cucumbers here, and maybe if depending on how those other things the other things that we planted do, maybe we'll end up doing a little bit more of that stuff further back. So yeah, that's first day of planting, and we're gonna keep you guys updated. See you later.